Hey, welcome to Mullen Stock. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on post notifications by hitting the bell so you never missed any of our uploads. And also remember that this is not a financial advice video. Today, I will talk to you about Mullen, provide an overview of some data points, discuss what shorts have been doing, and also talk about what's currently necessary for Mullen. In a brief note, we will touch on the Nasdaq hearing and what kind of expectations investors should have. Mullen's stock price has decreased by 5.54% today, and in terms of volume, there's an average estimate of 19.43 million shares traded compared to the usual average of 17.37 million. This suggests that in comparison to the last month, it's still relatively low, but when compared to the average, technically speaking, it has broken the $0.42 support level, which it had been holding for a few weeks. Breaking this support level is not a good sign. When it comes to breaking down Mullen's current situation, people have different viewpoints and sentiment levels. Some investors remain optimistic despite its recent dip. What is Mullen really up to? Many retail investors and institutions are waiting for Mullen to start generating substantial revenue, as there's still a lot of speculation surrounding it. As of now, I believe Mullen may have produced only around $800,000 in revenue. This might be reflected in their Q4 earnings. However, it could potentially be over 20 times more according to estimates for 2023 and 2024, but only if they start producing vehicles. So the question is, where are the cars they're supposed to be making? Are there any issues behind the scenes that should make Mullen more transparent, especially when it comes to technical aspects? We're very close to the all-time low. It was around $0.39, and we've closed at $41.08. Again, especially with tomorrow's bank earnings, if they don't provide a positive outlook for the future, this market is going to shake. Stocks like Mullen, which aren't producing substantial news and are still speculative, can be a recipe for disaster. Therefore, I'd like to be very optimistic. But I believe Mullen needs to step up and give investors a reason to buy in. It's the same time when shorts initiated their positions, and that was a signal today that there were no buyers, despite the significant volume of 19.8 million shares. Now, speaking of shorts, here's an overview. Today, shorts covered 386,160 shares, and 18.69% of the free float shares were shorted. In total, 32.55 million shares are shorted. The average cost to borrow is 15.46%, which is somewhat high as of yesterday. However, the fact that shorts could return shares and the market is still in the red indicates that there were virtually no buyers despite the high volume. As I mentioned earlier, many institutions are waiting on the sidelines for Mullen's turnaround. You can see this in the latest SEC disclosures, where several institutions completely divested their Mullen positions in Q3. So many institutions won't return to Mullen until they've generated substantial revenue and made significant progress. One more thing I noticed today, at least for now, Interactive Brokers indicates that approximately 3.2 million shares are available for shorting. And that's why when the last time shorts actually covered some shares on a red day, it was mostly to make room to go long on Mullen the next day. So all we'd have to do is wait and see how the bank's earnings go. If they turn out to be negative, it's pretty clear that the shorts might be in for some pain. Similarly, Mullen needs to play its part. And just to provide a few updates, as they like to keep the general public informed, and they've done quite a bit of that in the past. But in reality, if we look at this update, I've mentioned this before, they haven't said anything about the M1. What about the flying cars? No update on that yet? Or what about Brad's hints about the 1.54 M1 cargo? Anything on that? And where's the airbag? Investors want answers to these and many other questions. Brad is quite optimistic about the demand for the M1 compared to the M3. At this stage, Mullen just needs to deliver. I've said this before, going back to Chris's point, before discussing options and such things, they need to address the hearing date and the news about that. They intend to provide another update. So this is a company entirely different from Mullen. Its ticker is EBT. It seems like today was their hearing date, and they received an immediate response. As you can see, it has expired. Nasdaq hasn't said no to EBT. Similarly, this is the same thing you can compare with Mullen. When it comes to Mullen's hearing date, I think it's approximately scheduled for October 19. You may get 3 different options in the end, one of which Nasdaq just says no to. And if that's the case, you might see a delisting soon. Secondly, which I think is apparent, you get a 180-day extension, which is better. I think that will be obvious, and the ticker is NCO. So, for micromobility, their hearing date was today, but I don't think they received any response from Nasdaq on it. Again, it could be the same day or a few days later. And finally, the third option that comes from above is that Mullen gets a hearing, but with oversight. The hearing panel will assess whether Mullen is following its plan according to plan, just to see if they are sticking to the plan or not. I just wanted to give you a quick update on this because it's coming up soon. I think yes, just a week later, exactly a week from now. But based on options activity today, only about $59,000 worth of calls were bought compared to $33,000 worth of puts. So people are a bit more optimistic about Mullen for at least tomorrow. And at least as it stands, I know we're sitting at around $0.42 right now. So $0.50 is perhaps not too far if some good news comes in. But as it is, the open interest is about 12,000. If Mullen can somehow get above $0.50 and close there tomorrow, you may see market makers start to cover some of their positions. Keep that in mind. But still, looking at the closing next week on the 20th of October, everyone and their dog is most optimistic around that hearing date. And the TD swaps response deadline is also on the 19th, the same day. So October 19th will be quite an interesting day for Mullen. But speaking of the October 20th closing, there's about 11,000 open interest at the 50-cent strike price, 12 at $1 and 8 at $1.50. Guys, that's all we have for you today. What is your opinion about Mullen stock? Get involved and let us know in the comments down below. Thank you for watching.